I just want you to know this is the most painful thing that I'll probably ever have to do. Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, how many siblings do you have, and what was your relationship with them like growing up?
I had 8 siblings, 4 brothers, 4 sisters. I was number 7. Ma had 4 kids, then she waited 5 years and had 5 more kids. So the older 4 is more like aunts and uncles than brothers and sisters. I remember one sister being home for maybe 2 years that I can remember. So I mostly grew up with the last 5.
What were their names?
Their names was Lennis, Christian, Linda, Elma, Orlo, Raymond, me, Cindy, and Penny. Penny being the last one was spoiled rotten.
Can you share some memories of growing up in the Lake City area?
Oh, growing up in Lake City, we lived 20 miles from town. We never got to do anything. If we made it in a play or anything, we never had anyone come and see us because we lived so far out. But let me back up. My first 5 years of school, I was in a country school. I had one other classmate and just the 2 of us. It was a 1-room school across the road from my house. Could never skip school because they could see me playing. And if I wasn't sick, Ma would send me back over anyway. And then they consolidated and we went to Lake City School. So I went in 5th grade. And when I was in, let's see what grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, I was best friends with the girl, the grandma lived down the road. So we were best friends since 5 years old. So in 6th grade, I would be going to 7th grade. She would be going to 6th grade. So we came up with a scheme. If I flunked, then she would catch up with me. So when the teachers came and asked me why I wasn't trying, I told them because I wanted Rhonda to catch up with me, and that was the only way I could do it. So I flunked, and she was in my class. So it worked out perfect. We're still best friends yet today.
That was when you went to Lake City, right?
Lake City, yeah.
How did you get to school? Who brought you in?
Oh, we rode a bus. Nobody liked the fact that they consolidated the school and we had to go into Lake City. Parents were very upset. We didn't like it because we were strangers in the classroom. It wasn't fun.
How did you celebrate birthdays and holidays as a child?
Birthdays and holidays. Birthdays, sometimes we would have a cake. It was never a round cake. It was a cake just in a pan. It wasn't a big deal. I still don't make a big deal out of birthdays. It was just another day. Thanksgiving, we had a great big meal, and that was so good. Ma was a very good cook. Christmas, we always went up to my grandma's, and she bought presents for everyone. And I remember when she quit buying, there was 120 gifts that she bought for people the last year. Then she dropped it down to just getting her 4 kids like a box of candy or something. But all the cousins came, and it was huge. Easter, we got a basket. We wasn't religious in my family, but we always got the candy. Sometimes we went to church with Ma, got a new outfit and everything. But yeah, it was fun. Very close-knit family. Every Sunday, we had a great big chicken dinner. People would come over. It was fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
What is your proudest moment from your childhood?
Proudest moment from my childhood.
Or any memories that stand out?
Memories. I guess I really liked hunting and fishing. We would just take our BB guns and go out hunting in the woods. And I remember coming home and Ma saying, "You guys hungry?" And we said, "No, we killed a starling and roasted it on a stick." and we would go up to this lake 2 hours, or not 2 hours, about 2 miles away, and we'd catch fish. And same thing, if we was hungry, we'd put it on a stick and roast it over a little fire.
What's a starling?
What's a starling?
Mhm.
It's a bird you wouldn't want to eat.
Oh.
It's almost equal to a crow.
And you ate that?
Yeah, we ate it. Yeah,
How was that?
we ate lots of stuff like that. We were country kids, so we ate it. And at the country school we went to, Ma lived kitty corner across the road, and she'd have the ladies' aid over, and that meant we all got to go over there and eat lunch. And it didn't matter if you were out playing in the woods and stuff, you didn't have to hurry back to the schoolhouse because the teacher didn't care. So we did that a lot. We played in the road. We played cops and robbers in the road. Some were the cops that run up and down. Some were
The robbers?
the robbers. But we was out far enough that there wasn't a lot of cars, so you didn't have to worry about that.
That sounds nice. Can you share a memorable experience from your teenage years that shaped your life dreams or goals?
My life dreams. I believe there's a reason for everything. And one time I was cleaning this car Mom and Dad bought, and there was this necklace thing in there, and it was weird looking. So I asked my mom what it was, and she said it was a rosary. And I thought, oh, that's cool. They say prayers on it and stuff. So I tore it apart and put it on, and I was mowing the lawn, and it's like something weird about this necklace I got on. So I took it off and put it back together and did a little research on it and found out what it was. And I still have it yet today. And it's like, why did I find this? Well, then I met my husband, and he was Catholic. So there's where the rosary came in. And just signs like that, it was like, I'm going to marry a Catholic. And I still believe, today that there's a reason for everything. Sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but there's a reason. You got to just sit in the boat and float.
Yeah. I agree with that. That's everything happens for a reason is my favorite quote.
Yeah,
And then
it
I love
does. Yeah.
The sit in the boat and float
Yep.
thing. I feel like that's kind of like a family, like our family thing. When I looked it
Yeah.
up one time and I couldn't find like a real quote on it, but I love
Yeah.
it because it's like our family
Yeah.
thing.
You just got to wait, and God will let you know what he wants to do with you.
Mhm. And then, so you kind of talked about your family already, but did you grow up near your family, like your cousins and your grandparents and everybody?
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff with cousins. Grandparents was only a mile away, so we'd walk up there and see them, and she'd always give us kidney beans to eat. Sometimes she warmed them up, sometimes she didn't. That's the only one side grandparent I remember. And but the cousins always came over, and if Mom wanted to go someplace on Sunday, we'd have to get up real early and leave so the other people didn't come over and have to cook for them. Because our place was the place to gather. It was just a fun place.
What were your parents like?
My parents were like, let's see, Dad, he was, never laid a hand on us kids, never hit us. Once in a great while, if we got too rambunctious, he would pull the hair on top just a little teeny bit and tell us to sit on a chair, and we'd sit there for about 1 minute, and then we were gone. And but Ma, oh my, Ma would take the broom after us and chase us down and try to clobber us, but we were always faster than her. But then she would have us go across the road and cut a switch. So she'd give us a spanking with the stick or the switch. And you know, switches hurt. So you'd always try to find a little one thinking it's not going to hurt. Well, the little ones were worse than the big ones. But she loved to bake and cook. She was excellent. She liked kids. She loved to clean. When I was a teenager, I had to clean the windows in this big house every Saturday. Everybody knew I'd be out on ladder washing windows,
Oh, the outside?
outside
Oh,
windows.
wow.
Yeah, and we cleaned a lot.
Yeah.
But it paid off. I'm not a dirty housekeeper, neither are my kids.
Yeah. And my mom also raised us like that too.
Yeah.
To clean, and we clean every Saturday too.
Yeah, teach them how to do
Awesome.
things right.
Yep. What is something that people might be surprised to learn about you?
Surprised? I come off as really a big, hard-nosed person, but I'm not really. I'm pretty soft inside. But I like to get the point across to people. I love teenagers because they're so fun, dramatic. I don't really care for babies, but little kids are fun.
Mm.
Like 1-year-old and older, but teenagers are the best. And I like to teach kids. We had exchange students, 32 of them, and I wanted to push as much stuff as I could on learning about America while they were here and showing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about teaching.
Yep. And you worked in the schools, right?
Yeah, worked with special ed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you still get like Andy?
I take a
Everything?
40-year-old boy that was in my class in special ed. Every Wednesday he hangs out with me and I teach him life skills, red deck style. And today I was chasing a sheep because she had babies and wouldn't feed it. So I hit the wall.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's about it.
Were you a sports fan? And do you remember any memorable sports events?
I wanted to do sports and singing and cheerleading, and we lived too far out to do anything at all.
Hmm.
So parents weren't real supportive of school. You could quit school anytime you wanted, and they just didn't really care. I remember one time that was so disappointing. I was in a play, and everybody was so excited their parents was there, and I looked out and my parents weren't there. I was just really hoping they would surprise me and come to the play, but they never did. So I wasn't in sports or anything.
Yeah. But I feel like that's probably taught you, like, because you were always there for your kids and even for us as your grandkids and stuff. Like Amari and
Yeah,
Grace. Or
that's I told my kids they will play in band, and they did all graduate, and they will learn to swim and ski.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Same
those
for us
things we're
grandkids.
going to do. And all my grandkids, they all did the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. And I'm glad that we were like pushed to learn
Yeah.
that stuff because I mean I
Yep.
ski and swim and everything, and it just makes us stronger. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yep.
Definitely. What was your first car, and did you buy it on your own?
My first car was not my car. It was my boyfriend's car. It was what was your car, David?
64 Ford.
64 Ford. And I learned to drive when I was 12 because my dad owned a sawmill, so we had logging trucks and stuff. And I took piano lessons, and I would drive the car 20 miles in town to take the piano lessons. And when I took driver's training, I drove the car in and parked down the road and then walked into the school. And when we got all done, the teacher said, there, now you can drive in town legally because I see you park down the road every time you come in. But so, yeah, 12 years old was when people in the country drove.
What age did you take driver's training?
Yeah, you had 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I was older then, yeah.
Okay. And then who taught you how to drive? Or did you just because your dad and everything like? With
Yeah,
the
Dad said, take the car and go up to the sawmill and tell them to come down and eat. I could drive a truck, a logging truck. It wasn't a big deal. We just all did it.
Mm-hmm. So was that your first job, or did you have something else as your
What do you mean, first job?
Like the sawmill, did you help out there? And
Yeah,
stuff?
we had to help out when Dad couldn't find people to help out saw lumber. We had to help him.
So how old were you when you started, do you think?
13.
13?
Yeah.
And then what was like your first like official job?
I worked at a restaurant for my first job, doing the dishes, peeling the potatoes so they could have fried potatoes. It was a pain. I never got a tip because I wasn't a waitress, but I could clear the tables and stuff, but never got tips at all. So I was kind of behind the scene.
Mm.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Oh, I also pruned trees. That's actually my first job. Pruning trees. I baled trees. I drug trees, which was a big pain in the hind end. But that I didn't. The restaurant thing, it was more for townies. I wasn't a townie, which the kids live in town, and I was way out of town, so it was hard.
Mm. How did you get there? If you that was when you were 20 miles from there?
Yeah, I don't know. Mom must have took me in town or something.
Just curious.
Because they believed in, kids working, not just sitting around
Yeah.
watching TV.
Mhm. Yeah. And then how did your first job impact your perspective on work and responsibility? Or just like your jobs in general? It doesn't have to be your first job.
Well, we were taught to work.
Mhm.
So I babysat a lot and made money for myself. We never got money from my parents because Ma had so many kids, I never wanted to ask her for money. And I just always knew I was going to work whenever I could because they did too.
Mhm.
So I was taught.
Yeah, that's what you taught my mom too, and she's taught us that, and I feel like that's definitely like just gone through generations and everything. Like it just has helped us and strengthened us with that.
Yeah, you don't live for the paycheck to come in the mail on the first of the month, like a welfare check. You don't wait for that. You get out there and you work.
Yep. Yeah. You want to talk about like how you and Grandpa met and like when you got married and stuff?
When we met, it was in school, and it was love at first hand. The grandkids loved this story.
Yes.
My plans was to go to the Army. That was my big dream. And one day I came down the hall, and I saw this hand against it was a cutout to go into a classroom. I saw this hand up on the wall, and I thought, oh my gosh, that hand looks like it would protect anyone he loved. And I thought, oh, go by. So I walked by and go, oh my gosh, David Booms? No way. So these feelings wouldn't leave. It was for a week. And I couldn't stand it. So I told my girlfriend. So she planned this big thing where we would ask him for a ride to the square dance that was out there. So we talked and said, oh, are you going to the square dance this weekend? And, no, I don't have a ride. Well, maybe David Booms will give you a ride. He was saying, yeah, I'll give you a ride. So,
that was Rhonda?
yeah, that was Rhonda. So he came and picked me up. He says it wasn't a date. Well, I thought it was. And we pulled out of the driveway, and he opened the door, and I got in the car, and we pulled out of the driveway, and I said, am I supposed to sit by you? And he says, if you want to. So I went to slide over in the middle, and he was going to show off and hit the gas pedal around a curve, so I flew on top of him.
Oh gosh.
And we went to the square dance, and we were talking in the car, and my brother come up and got in the car with us. I wanted to kill him. He just wanted to make sure I was okay, so he was checking out David. Well, then we went inside, and we're sitting there, and my cousin, who was a flirt, went over and sat on David's lap. It really ticked me off. And then
Which cousin was that?
Gail.
Oh.
So then he took me home, and he kissed me. It's like, wow, a boy actually kissed me. And we were upstairs. I was upstairs in the bedroom, and I kept putting my hand on my side, and my sister Penny says, what are you doing? I says, put your hand right here. Yeah, and I says, can you feel my boob? Because I thought maybe he was trying to feel me up. But She said no, so I was safe. And so that's how we met, was love at first hand. Oh, okay, then one of his friends, we decided to tell him. So we went and told him, and he was in drafting class. And when I said, wanted to go out with David, he said, little David Booms, and laughed so hard you could hear him all the way down the hallway in the principal's office. His laugh was so loud and toxic. So it's like, shut up, Dwayne. We had our hand over his mouth and everything. So, well, it paid off because we've been married 52 years now.
What age did you get married?
Back then, you could get married at an early age. Nobody cared. Mom, Dad didn't care. So I got married at 16 and finished school after I had my second kid. It just wasn't a big deal.
You had my mom when you were 17? Right?
No, I had
Or
your mom 18.
18, okay.
Yeah. Wasn't pregnant when I got married or anything. Just, that's what you did. Ma was 16. My another sister was 16.
Mhm.
And just
Penny or
Linda.
Linda? Oh.
Cindy was 17. And they're all married yet. Out of 9 kids, none of them were divorced.
Mm.
Yep.
Let me see. Can you share a significant milestone or accomplishment from your teenage years?
Teenage years?
Yeah.
Probably get my driver's license so I could drive in town legally.
Legally. What is like your biggest life lesson or something that's just like really changed you?
A life lesson. Something that's changed?
Yeah.
Well, my biggest change that is still shocking is that I had a stroke 2 years ago. That was like, wow. Did not expect that. Still not recovered from it. And I would ask God, why? What is the message here? There's a reason for everything, so what is it?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured it out yet. I had lost my faith in God, but it's probably 95% back now.
Mm.
Yep.
Can you describe your family's home and neighborhood in your hometown?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
We lived out 20 miles from the small little town that we call Lake City. There was a girl on one side, and we played with her all the time. And there was twins on the other side of the road, and we played with them. And I had a motorcycle when I was like 15, and I'd go up and down the road. But we walked a lot. We didn't ride anything. Didn't even ride a bike, really. We just walked wherever we wanted to go. We went to the lake that was 2 miles away quite often, but I took my motorcycle.
How did your family celebrate milestones such as graduations, weddings, just big events like that?
Graduations was not a big deal at all. Like I said, they didn't care if you went to school or not, but I have brother and sisters that graduated from high school. The biggest thing I remember was when I was 6 years old and the Vietnam War was on, and my brother had to go, and I remember he sent big boxes home from Vietnam, and we couldn't open them until he came home. Well, nowadays, I would think, is he going to come home? But back then, I couldn't wait for him to come home. So one day, he pulled in, and Ma started crying, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, she didn't know he was coming home. And
Which brother?
Lenny. All I could think of was, finally, we get to open the boxes. And he got us some Vietnam pajamas with our names on them. And got the women some purses, and they smelled just like skunk. And they just reeked. I don't know what he got the boys or anything. But that was a big memory right there.
How did he got them with like everybody's names on them and stuff?
Yeah,
Did he have them personalized, or did they find you? Was he able
personalized.
to find? Oh, okay, I
over
was
there.
like, how did he find? Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, they had to write it on.
Oh, okay, that's cool though.
Yeah, I still got them.
Oh really? That's cool.
And brought us Vietnam dolls home too.
Mm.
That's what those dolls are in that room in there.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. You'll have to show me later
Yeah.
so I can. Yeah. Can you describe a typical family dinner when you were a kid?
Typical family dinner was meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. Usually venison fried up, boiled potatoes or mashed with gravy, and then a vegetable. We wasn't big on desserts, so we didn't expect a dessert.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't make dessert nowadays either.
Mm.
But always three items
Yeah.
at the supper.
Did you guys you probably didn't buy a lot, did you?
No,
did you
we
grow
planted a huge garden
and shot your
and
animals and
shot our own venison and raised our cows, raised our pigs, chickens for eggs. Ma canned a lot.
Mm.
We all canned. We picked huckleberries and blackberries, sometimes some raspberries out in the woods.
Are huckleberries would
Oh, huckleberries are blueberries.
okay, yeah. Aren't they like the wild? Are they
They're the wild ones,
the
yeah.
wild ones? Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't you have some over there on the side? Or like you used to have little ones?
We used to have some.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ma baked bread all the time and cinnamon rolls, which were delicious.
Mm.
She was very good.
Can you let me see. So you said like you and your siblings would like play outside a lot, but like can you go into more detail on that? How you spent
Oh,
your time?
Dad built us three girls a playhouse one time, and the boys decided to play cowboys and Indians, and we were in the playhouse, and they had BB guns, and they shot the windows out of the playhouse. And Dad was mad when he got home. They didn't hit us with the BBs, but they shot the windows out, pretending we were inside, laying on the floor crying because they were trying to shoot us. But we hunted a lot. I've got pictures where I'm holding a squirrel, and we tried raccoon one time. Very greasy. Mostly, yeah, we didn't try porcupine, but raccoon, oh gosh, just stuck in your mouth. It was terrible, but Ma roasted it. But we would play on the swings. We'd chase the chickens and the ducks around the yard. And one time I had a pair of rabbits called Booger and Snot, and we let them loose and they mated. So when you come home at night, there was over 100 rabbits in the yard. Dad thought it was cool. It was. I love rabbits. I still got two giant
Flemish giants?
Flemish giants down by the barn. But I love animals. I don't like horses that much, and I hate dogs.
Well, you had dogs when my mom was
Oh,
a kid, didn't
gosh.
you?
We had a dog for young David when the kids were small. But when I was a kid, they were for, we had three. They were for hunting.
Mm.
They weren't just pets.
Yeah.
And they were off the chain and everything, but they stunk so bad.
And now you have hairless cats.
Yeah.
Like seen in the beginning of the interview.
Yeah.
Kiki and Jack.
Now I got my babies in the house.
The favorite grandkids.
Yeah, Jack and Kiki, my hairless cats, are my favorite grandkids.
What was a typical summer day like growing up as a child?
Playing with the neighbor kids, riding a motorcycle up to the little lake and fishing and swimming, and that's about it. We never went to the movies or anything like that. Once in a while we'd get to go out to eat with Mom and Dad at a restaurant.
Nice.
Hmm.
What was a typical winter day like?
What was the winter like?
Yeah. What did you guys do?
Winter we didn't ice fish. Dad had a snowmobile. We would ride snowmobiles. Actually, I'd wash my hair and jump on the snowmobile and go around the yard, and my hair would freeze, and it just felt kind of cool. But we made snowmen, and we slid on sleds across the road. Was a hill, so we would all get together there and go sliding. Sometimes they would get the hood off a car, and we'd get to ride on the hood down a gravel road, and or pull my sister, my older sister, on skis. She'd go on the banks of the gravel road, and we'd just pull her.
That sounds like
Oh,
fun.
we'd go ice skating once in a while too. We had a hill that would ice up, and we would just go skating there
On the hill?
on the hill.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it was right in the road, gravel road. Yep.
What values did your parents teach you, and how have they influenced your life choices?
Work hard. Be clean. Mom always said, you can be poor, but water is free. Wash up. Let's see, what else was it? Mostly work hard and be clean.
Yeah.
And when Dad would have people come and work at the sawmill, we called them river rats because they were kids that cousins, lived down by the river. And they wasn't always clean, so Mom would take them in the bathroom and scrub them up. These are teenagers. She'd scrub them, and you could hear her hollering, I'm going to put the wash rag in one ear and pull it out the other until you're clean. They'd come out, and their faces and necks and arms would be so red. Us kids would just laugh because we know what happened to them. That was funny.
Yeah. What values did your... Oh, wait, no, I just read that one. How did your family navigate financial challenges when you were growing up?
Ma had a credit card at JCPenney's, Montgomery Ward's, and Sears, and that's where we got our clothes. And there was a pajama factory at Cadillac, so we always got a new pair of pajamas for Christmas. But I can remember Ma sitting at the table holding her head and crying because she didn't know how she was going to pay some of the bills. And she was a diabetic who had to have insulin. So every time she ran out, I would take my noon hour at school and run down to the pharmacy and get her insulin so they didn't have to drive in town to get it and waste gas. I also worked at the cafeteria for free lunch or free breakfast. No, it wasn't free breakfast. It was free lunch, so they didn't have to pay for lunch for me. I forfeited a lot for things I knew that was hard.
You'd go like the 20 miles to get the insulin?
No, it was just
Or-
downtown.
Oh,
I was at
okay.
school,
Oh, because
and I
because
just
it was a
during
big
lunch
city.
I'd run down and pick it up at the
Okay.
pharmacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. What can you share, like, or you shared a significant life lesson, just right? Like yeah. So let me see a different one. What chores or responsibilities did you have as a child?
What chores and responsibility?
I mean, you said you worked at the sawmill a little bit. But
We had to work sawmill, mowed the lawn, I used a pair of scissors to cut the grass around trees. Had to keep the house cleaned. We had to do dishes. Oh my gosh, that back then they wore Mom wore dresses. And you had to iron them. So we would have piles and piles of laundry to iron. It got so old, and you always had to make sure you got the shoulders ironed good and stuff, because she would look. But it was like, we worked. And Mom would get us up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you'd be out of bed. You're not going to sleep in, and we'd start in working.
on the weekends or in the summer and stuff like that?
Summer.
What time
Yep.
did you go to school? Like,
We learned to cook at age 12. Go to school. Back then, I think we got on the bus about 7 o'clock.
oh, okay. So kind of like now.
Yeah. We didn't get out of school till 3:30.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really similar. We're at 35 minutes. Do you want to take a break or do you want to keep
Just
going?
take a break.